Hey guys, I'm back right here with another review like I told you guys, and this is on the Lebron 14. It's an outdoor review. So let's just hop right into it. Let's start off with traction. Traction is almost looks like a scanning print or something like that. It's like made out of a bunch of little tiny squares. It looks like, I don't know how to explain it. Almost looks like um a barcode or something like that. Um, Yeah, well, traction is I would say it's pretty good. I never had no slip or nothing. I went to go play in the shed, and I would do about every 5 to 6 plays. I would wipe the shoe, which is pretty good. It does get dust stuck pretty often in the little inside of the little squares, as you can see. But it wasn't really affecting the traction, and for like just regular outdoors, I was gripping the floor good. Um, Never slip or nothing. I was stopping on a dime, which is really good. And durability for traction, um, for outdoors, I would say it's good. It's pretty good. Unlike last year's version where the traction would wear out a lot, because the zoom units would protrude out. This one, even though the zoom units are protruding out, it seems to be that it's only worn out a little bit for the weeks I've been playing with it, and that's a really good sign. And it seems like the rubber is pretty hard, and that which makes it even better. It seems like it will take a long time for them to wear out, unlike last year's. So yeah, you're covered in durability. Let's move on to cushion. Cushion is a full length pylon with hexagonal zoom units. Um, Two in the forefoot, one in the midfoot, and one giant heel zoom unit. Um, if you have never tried zoom, zoom is it keeps you low to the ground while having good impact protection. It feels like really bouncy. It's like a really like almost like trampoline effect that zoom gives you. Um, and these shoes, I could not really feel the zoom units, which is crazy because the zoom units in this shoe are giant. Um, Compared to last year's version, you could feel the zoom units pretty good. It felt like almost like top loaded zoom, but this, I think since it's like balanced all out or completely even throughout the shoe, you can't really feel the zoom unit like bit. You can definitely feel it working when you're playing for a really long time or landing from high jumps. It has really good impact protection. The only downside of this shoe is that it feels pretty high off the ground, which I don't really like because you feel even a little tipsy because of these hexagonal zoom units. It's not too stable, which is, I don't know, it feels pretty scary. The impact protection is really great in the shoe. You're covered. It's still pretty responsive. Last year's version seemed a little more plush, but this year's version seems like they moved on to a little more response, which is pretty good. If you want to feel a little more faster. Alright, so let's move on to materials. Materials in the um, LeBron 14 is this um, foam back mesh throughout the whole shoe with a couple fuse um, in the high wear areas for stability and support. Um, and it has a strap right here, which I guess locks your heel down. But materials are pretty pliable for outdoors. Then they seem this mesh seems a little harder than other meshes they use on other shoes, foam back mesh, which is good. So it'll seem pretty durable. But for toe drags, as you can see, you'll probably rip the shoe within like a week or less if you do toe drags. But other than that, I've had no problem with the materials. They seem like they'll last, even the fly wire cables, um, and everything. So everything's good in materials, really pliable and soft. And your feet do not get that hot in these shoes like last year's version. Um, let's move on into fit. Fit is I would say true to size. If you're a normal footer, you'll have a little bit of space. If you're a narrow foot person, I would say maybe go down half a size. But either way, I feel like you'll still have a lot of space left in the shoe. This shoe is really good for wide footers. So if you're a wide footer, I would definitely recommend this shoe. It fits true to size. And for wide footers, I think you're good still going true to size because it has a lot of room in there. So fit is good. Um, the only downside to this shoe is that I felt a lot of heel slippage in the shoe, which is kind of weird. Um, well, not a lot, well, a pretty good amount. Even though I'd crank down the laces up here like crazy and the strap, I still feel a little heel slippage on both of the shoes, which was pretty annoying. But that's the only downside of it. I'm not sure if it was my pair or I don't know. But yeah. Moving on to support. Support is not as supported as last year's because that one's covered in fuse and hyper. What's that? Posit foam or whatever it's called. Um, this only has mostly mesh throughout the shoe, foam back mesh, and a little of like what fuse in the areas you need it. So like the material doesn't stretch as much. Um, right here they put a little suede for more support. Yeah, but I would say support is pretty good in this shoe, but as last year's version, it does not have that ankle support if you're looking for ankle support. Because last year's version had insane amount of ankle support, and this year's sure it looks like a high or a mid, but it really plays like a kind of like a low, maybe somewhat of a mid, but to me it felt mostly like a low with this really high ankle collar. Yeah, so support, it seems pretty supportive. I was not sliding out of the footbed beyond cuts and crosses or nothing like that. Um, the material it was soft enough to like for it to be comfortable, but it wasn't hard enough that like last year's that it had insane amount of support and like it wasn't flexible at all or breathable. So support was pretty good in this year's, but as I was saying, if you're looking for ankle support, you're better off going with last year's version if you can still find them. But yeah, um, so my overall thoughts on this shoe, it's definitely a good outdoor shoe. The upper seems like it'll last, but not as much. But it will definitely last you a good amount. And the rubber compound in the bottom, um, as you can see, mine is kind of translucent. Mine are glow in the dark, so I'm not sure. Maybe that affects it. Maybe I got a solid color one, it would last longer. I'm pretty sure it would. But as you can see, traction is pretty durable in this shoe, so you're covered in traction, so they will last you throughout the months of playing basketball. Um, so traction is good, and cushion. The cushion, it protects your knees from that hard concrete when you're landing from high jumps and all that. So I would say I would definitely recommend this shoe, but for the price tag it is, now they're like around 100. You can find them around 140, 150 now, or even cheaper. For that type of price, I would say maybe go for another shoe because you can find better shoes for cheaper. And the problem with this shoe was the heel slippage, which I did not like. Um, if you have the money, I would say get it, but if you really want them, I would say just wait it out until the price drops, because I know the price is going to drop pretty soon since the 15s are already coming out pretty soon. So I would just say wait, but this is a good shoe for outdoor hooping because it will last you. It will definitely last you. Well, that was my review on the LeBron 14s, and this shoe was a great shoe.